are these people?
It pulls us right into this, where Puerto Rico's having to do its own mutual aid.
Right. Which RBN talks about a lot. We talk about a lot here. But, you know, I found this article and I immediately felt like Savvy because she talks about mutual aid, especially like all the time. But I think especially given what happened to Puerto Rico, we're not even talking about Puerto Rico.
No. We barely talked about Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and so
did you guys watch the video of Biden like aimlessly walking away? I'm pretty sure in the wrong direction. Like going to Puerto Rico. I just want to be like, it's south. Joe, it's south. Not that way, south. Like he was just gonna like truck on down to Puerto Rico. Like anyway. It
doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter.
The
I don't know
remote
if anything
control
can
was
make
broken
that
that
more
day,
clear
I think.
than Joe Biden.
Right. So anyway, I do want to read this article just to kind of show you guys, like, as Misty said, we have to save ourselves here. And the way that we do that, especially when electoralism is shit, is mutual aid. So mutual aid emerges as a critical survival tool in Puerto Rico, written by Zane McNeil from
Waging Nonviolence.
Well, I got the article from Popular Resistance, but
nice.
Puerto Rican mutual aid groups are not only helping people meet basic needs after Hurricane Fiona, but building community power in the face of U.S. imperialism. Keep in mind, Fiona happened when 2017. That was Maria. No, this is no.
I can't keep them all.
I can't keep them all straight. This is happened this year, but I'm just not getting my hurricane straight. Anyway, sorry guys. A network of mutual aid groups in Puerto Rico were quick to react when the island lost power on September 18th before being hit by Hurricane Fiona. Funny enough, I didn't even hear about this hurricane at all. Like, because Ian just got a lot of the attention.
I remember Fiona.
But, yeah. Nearly 750,000 people are still without power a week after the storm caused mass flooding, landslides, and property damage. So this article, just to give preference, was written on September 27th, just to give some context here. Oh, I haven't.
There we go. You went the wrong way.
All right. Mutual aid groups like the feminist community-based organization Taurus Salud, the collective sustenance and solidarity group. I'm going to beat up my Spanish. Sorry.
Brigada Solidaria del Oeste.
And the LGBTQIA plus support group Ways Ahead have provided Puerto Rico residents with direct economic aid, as well as emergency essentials like first aid kits, water filters, solar lamps, non-perishable food, toiletries, and water purification devices. Puerto Rico's infrastructure has not yet recovered from Hurricane Maria in 2017, which caused the deaths of nearly 3,000 people.
3,000?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And decimated the island's healthcare, water, and power systems.
Right. And that was in when? When was
2017.
Maria? Okay.
2017.
Yeah. And then they just keep getting nailed every season. So,
right.
You know.
And given climate change, it's going to happen even more.
Yeah. They're going to need infrastructure to deal with this, you know?
Right. In 2021, the private company Luma Energy took over management of the electric power grid. Activists this summer protested the privatization of Puerto Rico's energy system, citing chronic power outages and frequent price increases. At a protest in San Juan last month, thousands of protesters and journalists were met with violence from the police. One protester alleged that they were hit directly in the face multiple times, and an elderly man claimed that he was repeatedly hit in the leg and had to be taken to the hospital because of the police's use of tear gas. In August, the anti-capitalist group Jornada se Abracon las Promesas took part in the protests, alleging that the U.S. colonial junta was forcing privatization to break up labor unions and continue the legacy of U.S. imperialism in Puerto Rico. Similarly, activists have asserted that the devastation caused by Hurricane Fiona exemplifies both the legacy of U.S. colonialism and climate change, which has been exacerbated by the global north. As Puerto Rican doctoral fellow Andrew J. Padilla explained in a tweet, Puerto Rico is in full blackout in large part because of U.S. imposed austerity and forced privatization of our electrical grid. In the aftermath of the damage caused by Fiona, activists have demanded that immediate relief be taken by the U.S. government, along with urgent relief efforts to the island. The Sunrise Movement tweeted in response to the disaster, the catastrophic flooding and the loss of power are the result of colonial policies that put profit over the people of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico deserves new Green Deal style policies that will build a public green energy grid and invest millions into social services. Since the U.S. government's neglect of Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, Puerto Rican communities have organized self-managing spaces known as mutual support centers or Centros de Apoyo Mutual. These community support centers are built upon the principles of mutual support, solidarity, community sovereignty, sustainability, and justice. What's more, the networks practice community self-management and provide soup kitchens, collective healing, for housing and knowledge sharing with community members. Puerto Rican practices of mutual aid are a direct decolonizing practice that disrupts the colonistic logic of individualism and capitalism. Mutual aid in Puerto Rico is a story about injustice and lack of access to resource and power channeled into action in order to survive. Isa Rodriguez Soto, an independent scholar and applied anthropologist in Puerto Rico, explained in the North American Congress on Latin America. Tired of watching people die after Hurricane Maria, Puerto Ricans needed to do two things: fill the immediate gaps in order to keep people alive, and at the same time, continue to demand accountability and action from governments. While Puerto Rico does have a strong history of utilizing community solidarity and mutual aid as tools to build community power in the face of U.S. imperialism, activists are adamant about highlighting Puerto Ricans' resilience as a survival tool developed to endure U.S.-driven colonialism, capitalism, and climate change. In an interview with Truthout, Democracy Now! Co-host Juan Gonzalez said, "The reality is that the Puerto Rican people since Hurricane Maria have actually been able to recognize that the government, when it comes to these crises, is inept, and many people have been able to develop their own ability to survive." Thoughts?
I mean, I think they should leave their ex and move in with Russia. See if Russia helps out a little more. Like Stella needs to get her groove back here. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's frustrating because like even in that article, they're like, yeah, you got to pressure the government. Like you're not pressuring the government to do shit right now. I love you, but like that's really difficult to do. You have to have them buy the like short and curlies to do that.
Start building outside the system.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we need to build, a parallel structure or parallel structures as we're doing the confronting of the really unconfrontable. They have so much power and authority at this point that it's
you essentially have to ignore them and like do it yourself. Like you have to ignore the entire structure. Like which is
just
difficult.
Remove yourself from it as much as possible and start dealing in other ways in the world. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's one thing that everybody can do, like growing your own food. Again, I realize I'm a hypocrite because I have land and I still haven't really figured out how to grow shit because I'm terrible at plants. But I mean, that's one thing that people can do. You can learn how to build shit, learn how to fix shit, learn how to sew, learn how to cook, learn how to can foods, learn how to basic like first aid stuff.
But you know what, Misty, I don't think that should fall on you necessarily to do all of that yourself. That's why it's a community-based
well, that's what I mean, though. Everybody can do something. There's so many things that we can do. Like if like I'm shit at plants, but like if somebody came and lived nearby me that was good at plants, I could let them use my land to do the plants. And then, you know what I mean? Like it's using each other for not using, but like collaborating with other people who have skills that we don't have in order to survive in ways that we need to survive. You know what I mean? Like you're right. You can't do all of those things yourself. It would be impossible to learn how to do all of those things yourself and be 100% self-sufficient. But but everybody can do something or some things. Like you can learn how to do a few of those things. The list is long. And a lot of those things go together. Like if you are learning how to grow food, you're probably also learning how to can food. You're probably also learning how to cook food. You know what I mean? So a few of those things go together. And so it's, you know, if you're learning how to build things, you're probably also learning how to fix things. You're probably also learning how, you know what I mean? Like it's, we can all do something though, to like try to figure out ways to soften the blow.
Barter goods, that kind of stuff, like stuff that if the, you know, as the preppers say, shit hits the fan, you know, you have something ready.
We have to prepare ourselves to soften the blow of the inevitable collapse because it's coming. I don't mean to be alarmist. It's coming. No, I think we're well past the point of no return.
Our country has been through this a couple of times, like where we've been close to failing. Right? Yeah. Like
they always fail, and we know that they always fail, and we know why they fail. Like we know how to prevent these things from happening, but it's happening.
They never learn. Like. No. I mean, that's my thing is I think I do have some optimism that we don't necessarily let it completely go before someone goes, all right, you know, but having said that, people have their like fingers on red buttons right now. So like, you know,
it doesn't have to be this way.
No. You're seeing protests in Europe about this, all of this, you know, I mean, taking your power back, as Kwame Ture would like to tell you to do, you know,
right.
Not just mobilize, but like organize, you know,
right.
It shouldn't be that hard, but it is,
right.
You know,
I just have something to say. I don't want to pick on AC in a way because, you know, like people are like, oh, you pick on her so much, but isn't she Puerto Rican? And why is she not mention this? Yeah, she's Puerto Rican and she's.
Has she talked about it at all?
Right. Anyone in government like is highlighting this at all. Like, I just feel like Puerto Rico is just like, not to say like we are forgotten about because we are, but I think Puerto Rico especially more so. Like they're just kind of doing their own thing in the middle of the Caribbean. No one gives a damn about it unless it's a crisis.
Well, you know what's coming. Said,
it's disaster capitalism.
Climate migration is going to be the problem. And then they're going to try to keep Puerto Ricans out of the country. I guarantee you, you know, like when there isn't an island left, there's going to be, you know, problems.
Right. And then they're going to want to come here.
Right.
Because, you know, obviously they're citizens and then like they're basically going to be denied access to their country, essentially.
Yeah.
So, you know, by both parties. So, you know, I mean, I think last week we kind of promised because it was just like a very down stream to have some type of, you know, hopeful.
Oh, I'm getting that. We're gonna have some fun in a second.
So I think I hope this counts. You know, as far well, actually, no. Like, I think the rest of the stories.
I think it is good. I think. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Puerto Rico is putting getting their shit together, like with or without us.
Right, but I've seen
without us would probably be better for them.
Right, but I've seen like how, you know, like I remember, I think it was their mayor who committed some type of thing. And he refused to step down, and basically the whole island went out to protest him out.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here.
It was a few years. Yeah, and I remember I forget. I think it might have been around 2016. It had to be around. I definitely remember that because it was around Trump. You know, so it was definitely around 2016 that this occurred. You know, it was, and I remember that because that was kind of like the beginning of my awakening politically, and like and I just saw that. I was like, wow, that's so amazing. Why can't we do that here? And it's like, but I think in a large part, if that, because when people feel like they have nothing to lose, then they're willing to do shit.
That's why they keep you complacent.
We haven't gotten to that point, unfortunately. And I'm kind of like, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of there. You know, like,
well, we shouldn't wait till that point. Like, that's what's so frustrating is that that's always the case, is that people wait until they have no other options left and they have nothing to lose. And you shouldn't wait that long. It doesn't have, like, it didn't have to get like this. And it's going to get worse because of inaction. And the longer we wait, the harder it will be. I know it's cliche. It's absolutely true. The longer we wait, the harder it's going to be. And, you know, people don't want to face that. And it's complete. That's why they keep you complacent. That's why they give you Netflix. That's why they give you Desperate Housewives. That's why they give you what the fuck ever else it's called. That's probably really old. I don't watch a lot of TV.
Misty, don't let perfect keep you from good.
I don't want perfect. I would just like, less genocide and war and oppression and inequality. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the basic stuff. I mean, but Sarah Silverman said that was ridiculous, that I should want like fair elections and shit. You know what I mean? Like that, you're ridiculous.
Please calm down. Misty, calm down. Misty.
I have very little patience for that attitude because people cannot.
I remember
there
that.
Are people literally dying because of this shit.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what? We're still waiting. Everyone just tells you to wait.
People don't have clean water in the United States of America in the year 2022. There are tons of communities who don't have clean water. We're the greatest country on earth. Fuck off. You're a fucking third world country with an army. Like, that's all you are. You're an army. You're like a corporate run army. That's all you are. We're like a shithole. You talk about shitholes. We are a shithole.
Yeah.
Are you joking? Look around. Look at the homelessness crisis in the United States of America in the year 2022. And they want to tell you that we're the greatest country on earth. No, we're fucking not. We're sending money to Nazis rather than taking care of our own people. We're not the greatest country on earth. That's a lie. They lied. They lied to you. You've been bombarded with propaganda since you exited the womb.
Time does not heal all wounds. Sometimes that shit gets infected, people. You're going to have to get this shit early. Speaking of wounds and infections. Oh, God. So